After World War II, older sleeping cars were replaced by lightweight passenger cars incorporating new design philosophies, such as the Naha 10 and subsequent sleeping cars, revolutionizing passenger services. However, power supply still relied on axle generators, which used belts and gears to drive generators from the car axles. Since before the war, large axle generators were used to power air conditioning or directly drive compressors for air conditioning. But these systems were complex and bulky, limiting their use to first-class sleeping cars. While steam heating provided comfort during winter, traveling in Japan's hot and humid summers was challenging. This changed with the introduction of the 20 series sleeping cars, which redefined the concept of passenger train services. A separate power car enabled a constant and ample power supply, leading to the creation of luxurious sleeping trains with fixed windows and complete air conditioning. Although the sleeping spaces were only 52 centimeters wide, unacceptable by today's standards, the comfort of air-conditioned travel in the middle of summer earned these trains the nickname moving hotels and made them highly popular. To address noise and smoke issues from power engines, the Kani 22 was introduced. It utilized motor generators for power in electrified sections, featuring 4 pantographs and exuding the prestige of a luxury express train. Simultaneously, non-electrified lines underwent rapid modernization. While electrification was progressing, steam trains still dominated major lines, and the rapid spread of diesel multiple units, DMUs, marked a new era. The success of the semi-express Nikko with the Kiha 55 led to the nationwide expansion of DMU semi-express services. High-speed DMU semi-express trains emerged across the country, including on the Sanayo Main Line, linking Sanayo and western Sannan regions to Kyushu. One such train was the semi-express Akiyoshi, connecting Yamaguchi and Hakata. Initially operated with 6-car Kiha 55 DMUs and a first-class car, it covered the distance between Yamaguchi and Hakata in 3 hours. By 1961, with the development of the express Kiha 58, new DMUs gradually replaced the older ones in semi-express services. Consequently, Akiyoshi transformed into a mixed train, combining new and old cars. As JNR rapidly improved speed, interior environment, and service quality, safety often lagged behind. Relying on human cognition for operation systems often induced errors, leading to accidents at a frequency unimaginable today. At the end of 1961, Japan was enveloped by a strong cold wave. A high-pressure system at 1060 millibars over the continent and a low-pressure system at 972 millibars over the Pacific created an unusually strong winter pressure pattern. Even under normal conditions, areas west of Hiroshima experienced some snowfall due to winds from the Sea of Japan, but this year was extreme. The Chugoku region saw snowfall exceeding 1 meter, causing significant schedule disruptions on all lines in the area. As a result, the limited express train Sakura, which was supposed to arrive at Nishiube early in the morning, reached the area late at night. Additionally, about 50 utility poles between Habu and Nishiube on the Sanayo Main Line had fallen, crippling communication and signal systems. Nowadays, such conditions would lead to complete service suspension, but the rules were different back then. There was a system for double-track sections where, if signals were inoperative, following trains could enter the same block section after a certain time interval from the preceding train. This system, known as isolation method or interval method, relied on visual confirmation and limited speeds to 45 km per hour to account for unexpected stops of preceding trains. Given the high importance of JNR's role and the year-end circumstances, efforts were made to continue train operations under this system. Meanwhile, Sakura had stopped due to snow and signal failures just before Nishiube, with no way to inform the station or following trains. Following it was the semi-express Aoshi, operating at the maximum allowed speed of 45 km per hour under the interval method. Unfortunately, several adverse conditions coincided: a gentle curve, deep snow at night, and fog reducing visibility. Aoshi noticed the stopped Sakura only 80 meters ahead. Despite applying emergency brakes, it was too late, and the leading Kiha 55 collided with the rear Naha 20 of Sakura, embedding into it. Photographs from the time show the Naha 20's conductor room nearly crushed. The lightweight construction of the new passenger cars was said to absorb the impact, but the severe shock damaged the connection areas. Fortunately, the low speed resulted in only one serious injury and 50 minor injuries, with no fatalities. However, this accident led to a sudden shortage of 20 series passenger cars. The transportation needs during the year-end and New Year period had to be met, and canceling the flagship express train Sakura was out of the question. However, there were few spare cars, and with the new series of passenger cars, there were many restrictions on mixed operations with other cars. Particularly, the centralized power supply for heating could not be accommodated by older cars. To address this, newer sleeping cars like the Nihane 10, which had modernized sleeping facilities, were quickly assembled into substitute formations. While these cars lacked air conditioning, it was fortunately midwinter, so ensuring heating sufficed for comfort. Heating was provided by steam supplied from the locomotive steam generator. Thus, an emergency formation was created by coupling these substitute cars behind the locomotive, followed by the 20 series cars. In the downward direction, the Connie 22, with its pantographs raised high, was positioned in the middle, preventing passengers in the older cars from moving to the 20 series side and thus unable to access the dining car. Despite the strong sense of authority within JNR, a 100 yen fare discount was offered, possibly as an apology. Although 100 yen might seem trivial now, it was significant back then when the starting salary at a small factory was around 17,000 yen. The substitute cars were not uniformly Nihane 10, instead, they were a mix of three types. For instance, in the downward formation, the Suhane 30 was coupled facing the Connie 22. This car, although modernized inside, retained a pre-war appearance in its bogie and body, making an interesting combination with the Connie 22. Thus, the limited express train Sakura, with its mixed and mismatched formation, continued its role as a vital artery connecting Kanto and Kyushu. However, the inclusion of many older cars in a flagship train composed of the latest 20 series cars drew criticism. Although the train was still named Sakura, some media referred to it as Yubazakura, an old cherry blossom, but this expression might have suggested that despite being old, it retained its beauty.